My name's Emily Foltz. I'm a licensed professional counselor working here in Kansas City, Missouri. I have my own small private practice. It's just me, and it's called Foltz Counseling. I've been in business for about a decade at this point. In my practice, I work with adults. I don't work with children. I prefer to work with individuals, and I specifically have a connection with the LGBTQIA community. I work a lot with trans folks and non-binary, gender-expansive individuals, but I'm happy to work with whoever wants to come and work with me. I do individual counseling mostly. I do work occasionally with couples, but typically just one-on-one. I do talk therapy, and I do letter referrals for hormone therapy for surgical interventions for the trans community. When I think about the obstacles facing women, I think a lot about not just the everyday expectations that women have to live up to, but also the social expectations that women have to live up to. So often women are the caretakers of the family. They're the planners, they're the organizers, they're responsible for managing their own finances and also making sure everybody else around them is feeling okay and doing well. And it's really easy for somebody to become taken advantage of, or to feel like they're putting more in than they're getting out in this kind of a situation, or that there's nothing left for themselves at the end of the day. And so that's something I see a lot of women struggling with, and then being in a society or a culture where women are fed stories about not being enough or not doing enough or should be happy with what they have, and then that turns into extra weight that a lot of women are carrying around. To help handle the stress and just the daily emotional load of having to put up with all of the things we as women are asked to tolerate, I think it's really important to come back to center and to remember who I am matters in this story, and who I am is already enough. The tools I bring to the table, I'm already navigating so much. I need to remember that it's okay to listen to myself and to trust myself and really tune into why I feel I need to do something or be a certain way. If that's coming from me, that's one thing. If it is me making myself smaller to fit into the expectations of others, that's something I want to push back against and start to challenge. So things to be aware of in the workplace for a woman, the thing that comes to mind for me is this old quote, and I don't know who said it first, but that Ginger Rogers did everything Fred Astaire did backwards and in heels, and I think that that's still true for a lot of women in the workforce trying to get seen for the work that they're doing or be heard in a room where often women's voices are discounted or discredited. So that's a challenge I think we're facing frequently. That one of the ways I would address it is to encourage people to not make themselves small. That when we accommodate other people's expectations and feed into the story of it's okay for you to talk over me, or it's okay for you to dismiss me, I'm inadvertently supporting the system that's keeping me in my place. And so it's okay to speak up and to use your voice, and to do that with as much grace and poise as Ginger Rogers. And if that's not in your handbook, it's not in mine, that's okay. It's all right to raise your voice and to say what you need to say to be heard. So for advice for managing your mental health, when you're on your own, you're out in the world, and you're just trying to get through the day, the moment, the couple of things I would recommend is taking a couple of really good centering breaths. Regulating your breathing does so much for your mental wellness. It can't be overstated. There's a reason we sigh with relief. There's a reason we gasp when we're excited. Our breath is tied to our emotional condition. So taking a moment to breathe, I think, is incredibly helpful. And then I also encourage people to remember the fingertips rule. And so the fingertips rule is I have control over what I can do with my hands from the ends of my finger back into myself. From the tips of my fingers back into myself, I control what I think, feel, say, do, believe, and that's it. That's what I'm responsible for in the world. And if somebody else tells me that I'm responsible for what they think, feel, say, do, or believe, they are lying to me. And if I say they are responsible for what I think, feel, say, do, or believe, I am lying to myself. So remembering this is where my control is, this is where my power is. What I think, feel, say, do, and believe, that makes a difference.